I didn't lose my husband to another woman. I lost him to my sister. And the worst part? Nothing wrong was happening. No secrets, no cheating, no obvious betrayal. Just something shifting, quietly. Until one day, I realized I wasn't the person he turned to anymore. She was. And that's what made it so hard to understand. My sister never tried to hurt me. She wasn't manipulative. She wasn't trying to take anything from me. That's what made it worse. Because everything between them looked right. Family dinners, casual conversations, inside jokes that made everyone laugh. And at first, I loved it. I thought, this is what closeness should look like. My husband getting along with my family. My sister being someone he could talk to. It felt safe, like nothing could go wrong, like I had nothing to question. But then something small started shifting. When we were all together, they talked just a little longer than everyone else. Same humor, same timing, same rhythm. And I remember thinking, this is good. This means we're close. I didn't realize I wasn't part of that closeness anymore. I didn't get cheated on. I got replaced by my sister. And nothing wrong was happening. No secrets, no cheating, no dramatic moment I could point to. Just conversations, family dinners, moments where they laughed a little easier than everyone else. They understood each other instantly. Same humor, same rhythm, like they'd always spoken the same language. And I remember thinking, this is what closeness looks like. I felt lucky. I had no idea I was slowly disappearing from it. The first time something actually felt wrong wasn't dramatic. No fight, no confrontation. It was a Tuesday evening. My husband mentioned something about work, something frustrating. I leaned in, ready to respond, because this is what we did. He talks, I listen. We figure things out together. But before I could finish, my sister answered. Not over me, not loudly, just naturally. Like she already knew what he meant. And the strange part? She did. He smiled, relaxed, like something heavy had lifted, without him needing to say another word. And that's when I noticed something I can't unsee. He hadn't looked at me when he spoke. He had looked at her. The first time I noticed, it looked like nothing. My husband mentioned something about work. I started to respond, but my sister answered first. Not rudely, not intentionally, just naturally, like she already understood him. And she did. He relaxed immediately, smiled, like something heavy had just been lifted. And then I saw it, the thing I couldn't unsee. He was looking at me when he spoke. He was looking at her, and she wasn't even trying. After that, I started seeing more. Not big things, small things. Texts, memes, random updates. Nothing hidden, harmless, until they weren't. Because those small conversations built something. Familiarity, ease, a rhythm. A rhythm I wasn't part of. And I wish I could say I said something then, but I didn't. Inside jokes I didn't understand, references to conversations I hadn't been in. Remember what Claire said about that? Your sister mentioned the same something. Small comments, but frequent. Frequent enough that I felt slightly outside of conversations that should have included me. One night, we were in the kitchen, just the two of us. I asked how his day was. He's trying talking, something symptoms at work, and anything looking really listened. Because this us. But halfway through, he stopped. Then those of secrets quietly. I already talked to your sister about it earlier. The words were soft, but they didn't feel soft. They felt final. Like at how about late, to something that yells about of more. We were in the kitchen, just us. I asked about his day, and the moment it felt before. Like the words you, we're us. He started talking about something stressful at work, and I was listening, really listening. Because this was what we did. This between then he stopped, mid-sentence, and somewhat quietly. I already talked to your sister about it earlier. And just like that, I wasn't the came to anymore. I was the person he came to after the conversation had already having somewhere else. A few days later, I walked into the living room unexpectedly. They were there, close, serious, talking, and the moment they saw me, they stopped. Not dramatically, just enough. My sister smiled. Just talking about work. My husband nodded. Nothing important. Nothing important. But it didn't feel like nothing, because whatever they were sharing disappeared the second I entered the room. And suddenly I understood something I hadn't wanted to admit. It wasn't about what they said. It was about what they shared. Before I got there. I walked into the living room and they stopped talking. Not obviously, not guiltily, just enough. My sister smiled. Just talking about work. My husband nodded. Nothing important. But it didn't feel like nothing. Because whatever they were sharing ended the moment I walked in. And I stood there realizing something I hadn't wanted to admit. I wasn't interrupting a conversation. I was interrupting something that had quietly, slowly, become theirs. And I had no idea when that happened. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because I thought something inappropriate was happening, but because something else had shifted. Something quieter, and somehow more permanent. The space where my husband used to come to me, to think out loud, to feel understood, to just be, had been filled, not suddenly, not intentionally, but consistently, until it became natural. The next morning, I asked my sister to come over, just us. She arrived the same way she always did, warm, easy, smiling. "Can I ask you something?" I said. "Of course. How often do you and him talk?" She didn't look guilty, just careful. "I don't know. Sometimes. Does he tell you things he doesn't tell me?" She hesitated. "I don't know what he tells you." That wasn't an answer. And we both knew it. "He told me he already talked to you," I said quietly, "about something that was bothering him. Before he talked to me. I didn't ask him to," she said. "I know. Then what's the problem?" And that's when it hit me. She genuinely didn't see it. And somehow, that made it worse. To her, this was just closeness, connection, family. She didn't understand that she had slowly replaced me. When I confronted my sister, she didn't understand what she'd done. "I didn't ask him to tell me things," she said. "I know," I told her. "Then what's the problem?" And I realized she genuinely didn't see it. To her, this was just family, just connection. But to me, it was the moment I understood something painful. My husband had been turning to someone else. Quietly, consistently, naturally. And I didn't notice until I was already standing outside my own marriage, with no idea when the door had closed. "The problem," I said carefully, "is that I'm his wife, and I didn't know he was struggling until after you did." Her face changed, not defensive, just sad. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't mean to." "I know you didn't." We sat in silence, not angry, just aware. That night I talked to my husband, not angrily, just honestly. "Why do you talk to her before you talk to me?" He looked genuinely surprised. "You do," I said gently, "and I need to know why." He was quiet for a long time. Then he said something I wasn't prepared for. "Because she doesn't worry." I stared at him. "What?" "When I tell you something's wrong, you try to fix it. You strategize. You solve it. And I love that about you. But sometimes, I don't need a solution. I just need someone to listen. And with her, I don't have to have answers yet. I felt something crack open in my chest. Not anger, understanding. Painful understanding. I didn't know you needed that, I said quietly. I didn't know how to tell you. We sat there, two people realizing how far they'd drifted, without ever meaning to. I want to be that person again, I said. The one you come to first. He nodded slowly. I want that too. It wasn't solved that night, but it was acknowledged. And sometimes, that's where rebuilding starts. My sister pulled back, not completely, but enough. And my husband and I started talking differently. Slower, less efficient, more present. He'd tell me things without me trying to fix them. And I'd listen without jumping to solutions. Listening without solving felt like doing nothing. But it wasn't nothing. It was presence. And that's what he'd been missing. Months later, we were all together again. Family dinner. Normal. Easy. But different. My sister didn't steal my husband. She didn't take my place. She stepped into a space I didn't realize I had stopped holding. And the most dangerous shift in a marriage isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It's the slow moment when someone else becomes the place your partner feels most understood. Not because they chose them over you, but because you stopped making space for the parts of them that didn't need fixing. When was the last time someone stopped coming to you first and you didn't notice right away?